Good morning and welcome to the Daniel Baldwin Show. It is Monday, December 30th, and we are really close to starting the new year. The end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025. And I got to tell you, little coffee, the hourglass. I was thinking the other day, I concluded a show and I'm down to Mondays and Fridays. I was doing too many shows and trying to make interesting material come up with what's going on in the news. And as we're going into the new year, things are getting quiet. As we get closer to the inauguration, we'll see some sparks flying, I'm sure, January. Once everyone's had their little vacation. But I noticed that the hourglass wasn't completely full. It was like, I kind of glance over at the sand. I leave it strategically right up here where I can kind of make reference to it. Because you don't know, I have a clock inside me when I do the show. And I was ending up without the hourglass at 50, 52, 55 minutes. And I thought, is that how long you want to go? Do you want to go an hour? And you look at all the other guys I did, Patrick Bet David, who is just a great host. He's a really kind and nice dad, husband, and business guy. I mean, he's got it all. There's a reason why he's doing so well, because the man himself is that cat. He's a good cat. So I did his show and I said, is there a time we're looking for? Because if you haven't noticed, I don't even have guests on my show right now. I can ramble. I'll go with it, pick up some material and freestyle it with you. You send me some questions, you do whatever. But when I have someone to bounce it off of, I think I can talk for a long time. We can go back and forth and debate things or agree on things or emphasize things. So doing his show, I think we went for like 2.5 hours. They told me, well, if at an hour, we want to definitely try to get an hour and 15. I was like, hour and 15. That might be, my story of what I did last week. So anyway, the clock has been running out after I'm done with the show. So I'm knocking shows out, I think that are concise and to the point of what I want to speak about this particular week. So we'll see how long we go. If I start to bore you, change your setting, my friends. Change your settings. Have at it. It would be interesting to get some emails though, or leave some messages on the whatever site you're watching this on. We're on a lot of different venues, from YouTube to Rumble to X, Truth Social, Instagram, TikTok. I think we're on them all now. So, but leave me a message. Yeah, you should go longer. Yeah, you should bring guest stars on. I've gotten that a bunch of times. So, I'm going to probably do some of that stuff. But right now, I'm kind of just bringing in the new year, watching what's going on, reporting in. Some of them are themed. Some of them are just straight political when we were going through the election, of course. But today I have a theme. Today the theme is resolutions. So New Year's Day is coming, and I started looking at New Year's resolutions and my history in New Year's resolutions, how that's worked out for me in the past. So I thought we should probably take a look at where does that come from? Where does the concept of New Year's resolutions? And I was quite interested. I thought this was a cool fact. The tradition of making New Year's resolutions originated with the ancient Babylonians, who celebrated the new year around 4,000 years ago. So this tradition started 4,000 years ago. That's a long time ago that we've been doing this as human beings. Particularly, I guess, in the beginning, the Babylonians. The Babylonians celebrated the new year in the spring when crops were planted with a 12-day festival called Akitu. During this time, people would make promises to the gods to repay debts and return borrowed items. They believed that fulfilling these promises would gain favor from the gods. That's my life. That's my whole life now. I believe that being of service to other human beings, the charitable works I do with my sister Jane and my brother Billy for breast cancer research at Stony Brook University on Long Island. I believe my daily life, with people through addiction and alcoholism and recovery, the amount of time that I spend doing that. And here's the interesting thing. I've had people say to me before, well, do you get paid to do that? And I say, no, usually never, but do you get paid to do that? Well, yes, of course, as I'm seeking favor from God. So, and I'd be lying to tell you that my Christianity, my belief system hasn't fueled my need to be of service to others. So, I get all kinds of requests through doing these shows and all kinds of stuff where people reach out, especially when they find out that I'm sober. They'll ask me all the time, hey, my son or my daughter or my husband, my wife, whatever it is, my boss it's crazy. He drinks so much, and blah, blah. And we start that conversation, that dance. Is it really the person that's emailing me many times? I'm asking for a friend, I get that. But I don't want to go too much into this. Maybe we'll do a show on being of service and sobriety, or you could reach out to me and ask me to private message me if you're having a problem. And believe it or not, I will absolutely email you back, or in the comment board, look for the messages, and we'll figure that out to help you or a loved one. But I found it really compelling that they did this seeking favor from the gods, plural, in Babylonian times. I think we should all live to seek favor from God. I think that's a great thing. So it made me smile to learn that was the history of it. I found that really compelling. But I believe that resolutions now are done more to improve an individual's life, to improve an individual's, perhaps, many times it's giving something up, or seeking to do something in the health realm that it would improve your health more. So you're trying to better yourself. At any rate, I would hope that you're trying to better yourself when you're participating in New Year's resolutions. So I started to look at, how successful are people? When you do a resolution, are most people, or half the people, what is the percentage? Because I have to say, from my own personal experience, I have not been great at fulfilling a resolution. I've had great ideas, and most of mine have been habitual things. I smoked for many, many years. After meeting my beautiful wife, Deasia, she knew I smoked, and I think she kind of tolerated it. When you don't smoke, it's way different. The smell of it, on someone's breath, on their clothes. I wasn't a huge smoker. I mean, I could smoke just a few cigarettes, 3 or 4 cigarettes in a day and be satisfied. I gapped them. Around eating, for sure, triggered me that I wanted that cigarette after I ate. And then she got to see me actually directing a movie. And it was a very tense time on this movie set. There was I could do a lot of shows. I could lay down right now and tell you about that. But imagine a really difficult time in the workplace and I was smoking, over a pack a day. I went from 4 to 6, maybe on a bad day, cigarettes to 26, like I would open in the second pack and getting through it. And it was every day. So certainly anxiety triggered my smoking and made it worse. And she was like, look, you got to do something. You're older than I am. We're having a baby, and I need you around. So I thought, I needed something to motivate me. So if you're making a resolution, I think it's really wise to have a motivational piece to it. Something that, this for yourself is important. But when there's someone else involved, when there's, even if it's so much, I need to be here for my grandkids, I need to, whatever it is. And you don't have to wait to be, 64 like I am to decide you're going to quit doing things that are bad for you, please. I don't know and hope I won't find out what the ramifications are from smoking and from, and I don't drink either. I don't drink, I don't use, I don't do any of that stuff. But that's because I had to get sober from those things. So, you can imagine if you go down the list, what it took, the amount of abuse on my body over years and years and years of alcoholism. It was bad, man. I mean, for me to have to give something up means that, I probably pushed it right to the edge. And I did. I had to do it. So don't wait for that. If you can, you know from studies and from science and from your doctors and so on, and you can feel it. There were times the smoking. I was still playing basketball in my 40s, and I play now. It's different how I play now at my age, but I still play now. I still get out there and I play. I played over Thanksgiving with my wife's younger brother, and he's like 19, 18. And he can just run like a deer, and trying to chase him around. And my sister-in-law's husband, he's 25. I mean, man, 25, I could play basketball for hours in the hot sun, like burning my skin out there for hours at that age. Now I can get out there and bust around half court for an hour, play a few games. I feel that quite a bit. Full court, woo. I can still do it, but I'm definitely jogging down there playing D. I'm not sprinting back to catch anybody, or leave that to the young kids. Make your resolutions something palpable, something realistic, something that you can actually achieve. Because if you're me, I went through years and years of not being successful. And the numbers substantiate this in what I'm trying to tell you. 80%, over 80 it says, of people who make resolutions actually succeed with any longevity at their resolution. So 8 out of 10 fail right out the gate, quickly too. And because you're probably trying to do things that are really hard. Smoking is a big one. Alcohol is another one. People want to stop. People want to quit drinking. I'm going to do it this year. It's a problem in my life. Whatever the reason is. Remember that depending on the level that you drink, you may need medical attention to stop that. You may not be able to stop that if you're a steady, everyday drinker, particularly the guy, not the one that falls down over the weekend, not the one that gets loud and goes crazy over the weekend. He's not the one you have to worry about. The one you have to worry about is the one that has 3 to steady things a night. Starts off, gets off of work, comes home, has a quick one. That one goes down pretty fast. Second one is, after dinner, I call that the smoothie. That's the one that, first one, you just knock it back. You have it, it steadies your nerve a little bit. It's a more habitual thing. It's something that you do. The second one, you feel a little bit. You feel that second one. That one, you don't belt it right down. But you put it away like you were at a bar. You're talking, you're drinking, you're not really thinking about it. And then the third one is a little stiffer than the first two, and that's the nightcap. And that one's going to actually help you sleep. If you drink like that person that's used to, and I'm talking drinking nice, 5-ounce glasses, you're knocking it back. You're going to have some withdrawal symptoms. You're definitely going to have symptoms due to the fact that you're changing your body chemistry and your body may be a little dependent on that alcohol. And you should probably see a doctor to do that. Give yourself every advantage, no matter what you're doing. If you're changing something that you ingest, if you're changing something, even drugs, food is a big one. If you're changing something significantly that you use a lot, you might want to go in and tell your doctor this is your goal. It doesn't hurt. And there may be something they can do to help you or co-produce. You want to have them work together. And I don't want you to go take one drug to try to stop another or to try to stop something. But there may be something you need to help you jump off, to climb the ladder before you dive off. There might be something to set you up. Consult your doctor. I think it's a really wise decision. Let me read this to you. Most New Year's resolutions fail because people often set unrealistic goals, lack a clear plan to achieve them, have no accountability system in place, lose motivation over time, and don't make their goals specific enough, leading to a lack of focus and progress tracking. Key reasons why New Year's resolutions fail: unrealistic goals. So, setting overly ambitious goals that are difficult to maintain long term, leading to discouragement and giving up. I will tell you that for me, there's one word that this all, probably more than smoking, maybe not more than getting sober, but certainly right up there was dieting and wanting to lose weight and look better and feel better. It wasn't feel better until I got much older because I didn't really see the signs as bad. But in my business, and I would go with guys I worked with, and I'm not saying anything, oh, I'm so great or any of this nonsense. I'm saying that I would go to set with, an ensemble piece. Mulholland Falls was a great example, a movie I did with Nick Nolte and Melanie Griffith, John Malkovich, a big cast. And there was, so many other, Bruce Dern and, Chris Penn and Chaz Palminteri. I could just go on and on and on with the cast of this movie. It was a really exciting piece to be involved with. But there were people in movies like that, and I'm not gonna say anyone's names, not that the ones that I just named that were in it. I was trying to highlight what a big movie it was. But there have been guys over my career that I would sit up there and I would act with, and I'd go, "Really? That's that guy?" Like, I'd throw something off the script, or we'd get the first couple of takes done, with a big wide shot. And then I'd say, "Can we do one more?" And then I'd throw something totally off script at them, and they'd go, like, "Where does it say that?" And I'd be like, "Okay, that's what I thought." There's a lot of window dressing in this business, but I got to tell you something. They look so good. They were in such good shape. They were so disciplined with what they ate, or maybe they weren't, because I see pictures of big movie stars that just let themselves go huge, and I've always kind of struggled with that weight thing a little bit myself. I don't know, for you men out there, as we've gotten older, your testosterone level drops some, and working out is harder. Things just your system slows down. I watch guys like Joe Rogan, talking about, he's got 30 different products, and I'm right there watching, going, will that work for me? Do you inject that? Do you take that in a liquid? Do you eat it? Is it a pill? And then I'm researching it, and every time, and for $99.99, you can get this to your door. And ashwagandha and shilajit, and your diabetes. I'm a type 2 diabetic. Your diabetes will plummet through the floor if you take this. So I bought the gooey stuff, that the shilajit. It's awful taste. So it tastes like something's got to happen that's good. It tastes like just crap, and you eat it, and I'm spooning it out with a special spoon. I leave it by my coffee because it's one of my only habitual things that I still do. I love my coffee. I spend stupid amounts of money on rare coffee that I'll try. So if they got a coffee hack that you can do, I've tried all those too. Lemon with cinnamon, with cayenne pepper. But I'm like, okay, well, what happened to the 40 pounds that are just naturally going to roll off me without having to work out, without having... Man, it's all such crap. I'm waiting for the one that I just take and I go, wow, I lost 20 pounds. That doesn't have to do with, having a colonoscopy. So I keep looking for these things. And the thing that I'll tell you is, just go back to that old school thing. Just go back to the old school theory. There is really no shortcut. There really isn't a shortcut. Dieting has to do with the quality of the stuff that you put into the engine. If you put crappy gas in your car's going to sputter. It's going to run bad. You wouldn't put water in your gas tank. People talk about, if you want to get back at somebody, you chuck a bunch of water in their gas tank, and that'll, they'll pay because you'll mess their engine up, and so on and so on. Well, that's right, because you're putting in bad fuel. You're sticking something in that nozzle, and that's the nozzle right there, what you eat. So if you want your blood sugar, in my case, I have to be really careful. I had to give up all the Gatorades. I mean, I drank Gatorade, when I ran around more too. The big ones like this, I drank those, 6, 7, 8 of those a day, not knowing what 39 grams or whatever the amount of grams that are in Gatorade or sugar or any of these other sugary drinks, what that did to me for 30, 40 years, since my 20s that I was drinking those types of drinks. And the energy drinks today, yeah, man, I struggle a little bit sometimes. I'm up here. I got up today at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm down here. I threw my show. I call throwing my show when I send it to my printer. I did the show last night, most of it. Then I print it all up, and I come down and I look over stuff. I put them in an order so there's a cadence to it. I did all that stuff ahead of time, but I'm up at 3. I'm going to be tired. I'm okay with taking a nap. I'm okay with taking a nap later today. My son didn't feel good last night. He's teething. His teeth are coming in. He was all over the place. His temperature going up and down. My wife and I are looking at each other going, okay, give him a little more Tylenol. Give him some Motrin. Do we take him to the doctor? Regular everyday life stuff. So when you're looking at regular everyday life stuff and you're trying to change that significantly, I know right now I'm 237, somewhere around there. And I was up, a few years ago, consistently over 280, so I'm 50 something, 50 pounds less than I was. I was down to like 228 and I had more to go. I could have definitely leaned some muscle mass, and got ready for that, the last third of my life. I'm definitely gone through at least 2/3 of it now. If I range that at around 90 to 100 years old, which I'm sure I'm going to live to be 100, I am. Even though I've done so much damage to my body, I'm that guy that'll live to, oh my God, Uncle Daniel's 102 today. Let's call him. I'm that cat for sure. Try to look at, like they do in AA. In Alcoholics Anonymous, they talk about one day at a time. And I used to feel I was so resentful over that. If I had to hear another person tell me about the one day at a time adage, if I had to listen to one more person go, well, try to just get through the next hour. I wanted to punch somebody through the screen. I was so pissed. What does that mean? One more hour? I'm not, it was true. It was really, really true. To incrementalize it to really small portions, to make it, like I said earlier, about it being palpable, something that you can actually smell it and you can ingest it. If you make it something that's so ugly and so disgusting, if you make it something that the shake has 7 layers to it and you have to peel back the outer skin of the grape and scrape the inside of the skin to get the enzyme, and all this just total BS that you have to do, you're not going to be consistently successful at that. You're not. You want to do things that are realistic in your life that you can do. So sometimes it's not a matter of perfection. What I offer to you today is to take a look at your lifestyle. Take a look at, and I mean this in a reflective for me way too. I'm not talking down to anybody, promise you, because I still have things I want to do. I, mark my words now, 37.8 or so. So 238 pounds I was this morning. I would like to get really down to like 215. I really would. I'd like to, if I could get down to 215, and hold that steady, but still going to the gym. My wife and I joined the gym again. She got me a gym membership. I have a little room down here that I have some stuff to train in, but no, going to a gym is a different thing. So make it realistic. Don't say, I'm going to quit smoking. If you know that that's, without, the aid of a doctor and the consistent work of, maybe you're going to cut down on smoking at first. Maybe you should make it a project that has steps, plateaus would be really, really good. I'm not going to drink soda. You know what I mean? Like, instead of the full diet, identify the 2 worst things in your diet that are consistent and try to give those up first. You'll see if you're drinking a lot of soda, you'll see by putting the soda away, you may increase a little bit to compensate with candy or something else sugar-wise, but I know people that drink 20 sodas a day. I mean, it's bad. And of course, their body's all messed up from it. So just take a look at what I'm saying. Set yourself up to be successful, because if you succeed in limiting the soda, if you succeed in limiting dessert, I didn't say don't eat, I didn't say change everything you eat, I didn't say all this nonsense. Maybe you don't order dessert. Maybe you don't eat out. Eating out is so easy to gain weight by doing it. Eating at home and preparing yourself, if you have to make the food, is way better for you. I know because, I didn't realize on my body as much, but my wife turned around and said, do you know what the Amex bill was last month? And she shot out some number where it was like double what I thought it was going to be. Because I thought, we both use it. It's our card. We pool everything we do together. And I thought, well, how is it that number? And it was like, I don't know, 6,000 or something like that. When it's normally like 2, So I thought, well, how did it get that? Did we buy something that we put on the card big? Because that would change it. We didn't. It was the number of restaurants we went to. And we had to entertain a few people that month. So we had some larger dinner tabs that we normally do, a couple of, $500 charges or whatever for multiple couples that were with us. Thank God no one drank, or it would have been $1,000, I'm sure. But the point is, if you pick one thing and then you take something within that category, like I said, diet, soda, dessert, don't eat dessert. Try not to eat dessert, or try not to eat out, or pick a way that naturally limits the thing that is causing the problem. If you want to quit smoking, don't go to bars that have smoking. Don't go to casinos. Don't go to, if there's that guy that you normally have lunch with, that you eat with at work, and he smokes right then and there, don't eat lunch with that guy. So you can help yourself become more successful by really thinking through the process and limiting certain things that will have an effect on you, that will make you unsuccessful at it. So I looked at this one. Okay, so let me read this. So I download stuff and I read them, and then I digest my thoughts about how I want to present it or what I want to talk about, and then of course I start opening my mouth and I go off. New Year's resolutions can be healthy if they are realistic and well chosen, and can be a positive way to improve your life. However, the pressure to achieve a resolution can lead to anxiety and stress, which can negatively impact your health. According to the U.S. News and World Report, the failure rate for New Year's resolutions is around 80%. Here are some tips for making healthy New Year's resolutions. Make them realistic. Break big goals into smaller steps and include specific behaviors to help you reach them. Track your progress. Keep a journal or diary, or use an exercise diary to record your progress. So again, those are things that in my history, I have not been good at. Journaling it and writing it down. But I will say this. Doing quirky little things like I'll have something in my car, okay? In my car is a little Jesus, a crucifix, and in my car my mail is always, in one spot, because I grab the mail, I go in the car with it. I sit in the car and I open my mail in the car, and then I leave the mail in my car for, 5 days before I take out a big pile of mail and separate it again in the house, because it's just a ritual. I do it. I check the mailbox before I get in the car. The car is right by the mailbox. But I move the mail in the car, either on one side of the stick shift or the other, to remind me about the dogs. I set myself, oh yes, I did this. Those kinds of little quirky things. Find quirky stuff where you leave your keys on top of something to remind you, go for that walk. I set myself up, instead of, alarms going off or whatever, I try to drink more water. That's one of my resolutions this year. Everything I've read says, and it's not that hard. It's not that hard to leave containers of water out. So in the car right now, you'll see my favorite water, it's a long bottle, is sitting right next to where I'll have to put the keys down, the cup holder, and the bottle of water sticking way out. I buy these bottles that are really high. So it reminds me, open it up right there. Just hear me out. Open the water up right there and just chug down a quarter of the bottle. It's a quarter more of the bottle. So every time I get in the car, I try to drink a quarter of the bottle. Not half, not the full thing, not so I have to pee myself driving down the highway. Realistically, what does it take to drink half of that glass? But if I do it 4 times a day, because I'm going to go in the car when I start, I'm going to get to the destination I'm at. I'm going to turn around, and before I stop the car, I get out, I just take another couple blasts of water. Then when I get back in the car to come home, I blast it again, I pull in front of that, and I finish the entire bottle. That's a whole bottle more water a day that I'm used to drinking. Believe me, it adds up 7 bottles a day, because I'm in the car every day, just about every day. I got to go to the store. It doesn't matter where you're going, just a quarter bottle theory. It's those kinds of little things that really make your goals attainable. I went to the gym, and I've started already, even though New Year's didn't start, because I got the gym gift for Christmas. My wife was so kind, and she listens to what I'm saying and what's going on in my life, and she's like, okay, let me get him in. Not some big fancy gym, but it's a nice gym. And I started going to the gym, and when I went there, I read this thing about curling. I was working on my arms, front and back of my arms, tricep and bicep, and I used to never warm up, very rarely. Not that I was Joe, lifting giant weights, but I just get into it. I'm doing triceps. It's set at 60 pounds, 70 pounds, and I'm popping 12 off in a set or whatever it is. And I put it down to 30, and I did 50 in a set. And the first 20 times I'm pulling that bar down, I'm not even really feeling anything. I'm just getting to, I'm trying to get to 40, where at 40, I start to feel a little bit of a burn. And I know I'm not overdoing it. I know I'm not going to have to knock people around. I'm not diving out of moving cars in movies really anymore. I might run up to the car, and then some guy in an outfit that looks like me with my hair flips over the car, and then I come in and I fall on the ground. I could still do the fall on the ground, but I don't set myself up to be unsuccessful with the level of athleticism that I have to attain at work or even in the private sector. I don't do those things. My body, I'm not 25. I'm not playing football, somewhere where I do it for a living. So be realistic in what it is you're doing it for also. Are you doing it because you want to look better? Are you doing it because you want to feel better? Then do things that will make you feel better. You're not, and I'm not 25. I'm not 35 or 45. I'm almost 65. And so I don't need to go in there and do, I'm not a bodybuilder. I've never been. I've never had the really thin, super muscular body. I was more of a powerful athlete, in the circles that I participated and competed in. But I'd rather now be the guy that looks like a swimmer's body. It's not my natural frame, but those are more my goals. Not to look really big. I mean, I got guys that I went to high school and I know, Tommy Terwilliger. I look at Tommy now and I look at his brother Mike and I go, man, those guys are my age or older, and they still look better than I ever looked. I'm never going to get to that spot, and that's realistic. I'm not trying to. Pick a goal, pick a look, a thing that you want to look like or feel like, and make that reachable, attainable. Make sure you really study this, what I'm saying to you, so you can feel good about attaining it. Could I get down to 215? Well, I said I was 237, 238, and I think to myself, well, if that's 10, it's 28. That's 20 more. I certainly have 20 something pounds. Now, how I mold and shape that after I get that, that's just fat that I want to get off my body, excessive fat. That does me no good. Does me no good. It weighs me down. I think that it contributes to the knees and the lower back, and some of the things that I'm starting to feel now from the years of high level sports that I played, or pretty high level. I mean, I wasn't in the NFL for sure, but playing basketball with my friends and crashing into them and doing stuff for that many years, you pay, especially the stuff I did in the movie business. I always let my stuntman do the stunt first, so that I would never want to take food off his plate. So he got to do that first, and then I'd say, okay, I'd like to try. And I did almost every stunt in every movie I've ever done. I have, but besides when they say, when you're jumping out of an airplane, when you're, I've heard the stories about Tom Cruise and all the stuff that they say that he did, and if he did, I'd hate to be the person that insured that movie, because remember something, if Tom falls off the side of an airliner and they're shooting $100 million film and he dies, you're out $100 million. So it's almost unheard of that you would let somebody do those types of stunts. So again, birding buildings, diving off of rooftops, well, there's stuff they just won't let you do, nor do I necessarily have to do them. It's not necessary to do. But in the other categories, I've done a lot of stuff, where I've gotten, even in fight scenes where, you get the guy that's, supposed to know what he's doing, and he just clobbers you, and your eye blows up or your mouth splits open or whatever it is. And you're like, really? You needed to do that? And you start to learn the lesson to let somebody else do it. Make realistic goals for yourself. I have, so this was a list of 23 realistic goals. And I didn't write all 23. I wrote ones that resonated in me. And I don't know if they'll resonate in you, but I really do want to hear from you. I want you to say, I want you to write in the comments or whatever, at whatever venue you're watching this. Write in and talk about what are your goals? What do you want to do? We'll review them. I'll say you by name if you want. Say yes, mention my name, put in some type of thing in there that says it's okay. And I can talk directly to you. Tom Anderson of Oakland, California wrote, and if you headline it that way, then I'd love to include you and talk about specifically what did you put in as a resolution this year. I really am interested, and then maybe we can track by checking in with this fictitious Tom Anderson guy. Maybe after the first week of January, how's it going? What are the challenges? And we could track a couple of people to see, particularly when they're trying, the hard ones. They're cleaning up their act on alcohol or whatever, or they have a big goal. They're 100 pounds overweight, whatever it is. We'll pick out some good ones and see if someone's willing to do that with us, and we can track them. Maybe even have them on the show. Number 1, eat more whole foods. So think about that. We all know that's probably better for us. We all know, depending upon what your food habits are. If you're obviously a big clean eater, this doesn't apply to you. But for most of us, eating more whole foods is a way healthier way of life. So when I say make realistic goals for yourself, don't eat more whole foods, like drop everything you normally eat. But just pick a day of the week. On Tuesday, I'm going to eat whole foods all day. Just one day. It's one more day than you ever probably eat whole foods, exclusively whole foods in a day or in your diet. And I don't mean when you eat whole foods, you have asparagus with your whatever. No, eat whole foods for the whole day. So if you do that, I think what you'll find is, and you're really regimented and you really stay with it and make a clear goal and don't cheat. I think after you do that for a couple of months, you'll probably be able to do Tuesday and Friday, and you'll do a second day, and then you'll just start transitioning into your body yearning for whole foods in your diet, and you'll see that you can do it. You'll set yourself up to be successful. You'll see that the progress is that you are successful and that you can add additional days. And by a certain amount of time, in 6 months' time, you'll be eating a majority of whole foods. And that's the name of the game, to be successful at it. Make it realistic. This one I really wrote down because it's me. Sit less, move more. Now, I know if you're like me, you get to not the towering set of stairs at the airport, but the even going down the stairs. I get on the escalator. I get on that. I walk on the moving flat escalator thing in the airport. I walk on that. I like it because of how fast you can walk. I always blow by people. But you play these games in your head. And then you see as you get on the escalator going up the stairs the guy who goes on the stairs and he blows by you. And I think, I should do that. I should definitely do that. Even if I'm just walking up. Those are the types of things when they're right in front of you and there's an opportunity to do it. I also we go to one restaurant that's in a parking lot, big parking lot, and there's also a grocery store in the parking lot. And I will go get in the car and drive the car 200 yards. It's a big shopping center. From the restaurant to go grab the stuff we have to take home from the grocery store instead of walking the 200 yards and then walking back. So that's 400 yards of walking. Those are kind of easy ones that you could do as opposed to sitting all the time. And we know I'm going to get to one of the reasons why we sit all the time. One of the worst ones that I really am going to try to improve this year. And I'm making more than one resolution. So I'm going to the gym. I have this goal to get down to 215 for sure. 215, that's the number. I haven't put a time on it. I just want to get down to 215. That's what I want. That's what I was in high school. That's the weight I wrestled at. So you could wrestle unlimited, which was anything over 215. And we had a wrestler my junior year. He was a senior, Al Feldman, who was just such a really good wrestler. And I didn't know what I was doing. He would throw me around that room and teach me a lesson, until it got near the end of the season where I was like, okay, I can finally wrestle this man because he was that good. I was probably an overall better athlete than him. I could play other sports and do other things that he probably would not able. But as a wrestler, I was so appreciative after time was done that my junior year was done, that he was in my path because he was so good. He was so good. I hated how good he was, but it made me a much better wrestler, a much better athlete to have to confront that. So I'm going to tell you this other one, but I'm going to go through the list. Let me get through more of it. Get more quality sleep. My sleeping pattern ever since my daughter, my 16-year-old daughter, Avis, she had colic. And if you've never gone through this or don't really fully understand, she would wake up, that first 3 months was like being in Guantanamo Bay. Like they talk about how they wake the prisoners up and they blast loud sounds at them and they don't let them sleep. The sleep deprivation adds up, and then finally they divulge the secrets they've been hiding, or they crack, whatever it is. This is the way they depict it in the movies and in the news. So I'm going to tell you that it was like that to me, but she was screaming, and it changed how I sleep forever. I never sleep. Now little things wake me up. I have to wake up at my age now and go to the bathroom probably once a night. But for sure, quality sleep is something I really wish I could find some kind of peace and work on that. And I have to study more. These are just a list that I read. I told you of 23. Find physical activity you enjoy. Now, if you golf, which I like to golf, and I don't play that much anymore, it's hard on my back, but I think all of this kind of fits together. I think as I'm eating better, I lose a little weight, and my back feels better, I'll be able to golf more. And I used to watch the old guys. I was always in a cart, and I get in the cart and I drive around and I see the old guys, with the automatic thing. You don't have to carry your clubs. I mean, my bag is really heavy. That would not be enjoyable to me to carry the clubs, 18 holes. But to have the clubs on one of those electric golf carts, that the club carrier, and walk the course, I think would probably be really good for me. You don't realize how much you walk on 18 holes of golf. Now, provided you're not playing some course that's like some billy goat, mountain goat, kind of course where you're going up and down and it just becomes a strain to have to even walk it. But most of the courses I play are not that hilly. And I think that would be really advantageous to me. I'm starting to look at, do I buy one of those, or even a pull cart and pull the clubs, but do I buy one that's electronic? I don't have to worry about the clubs. It just kind of follows you around. I'm thinking about that. And I used to look at the old guys going, oh, look at him. He's out here. Look at his age. He's out here. Guess what? I'm his age now. And I'm thinking to myself, I could get some exercise in here if I played even one day a week. That's a nice workout to walk that long and then hit, stretch, swing the clubs, concentrate while I'm playing, because I don't like to play if I'm not playing well. And my way I used to play when I was in my 20s and 30s is way different than how I play now. So the walking thing is a really good idea. If you play golf or walking your dogs, going for just a walk with your spouse, walking is your friend. Try walking. Cook more meals at home. I mentioned this before. There's no question that the food that I cook in my home is far superior in the quality of the food's value. And to be very honest, most of the food that I could cook for myself, my wife, or the children is better than the food that when I order it. Not just the stuff that's in it, but I'm a better cook than the restaurant that I'm going to in most cases. I just am. So I put that kind of time into it and thought. I love the food that I serve because I usually love the people that I serve it to. So definitely cook more at home. This is the one I said I'm going to get to it later. And I've got 2 left. Limit screen time. Now, it's hard. And when I compare it to, my wife's an attorney, she's on that phone doing stuff and emailing back this partner and that client, and the court needs this document, and she runs down on her laptop. I have a laptop. I sometimes don't see the laptop for a week. I don't even know where it is. She's on that bad boy all the time, and she can bang away on the keys. I'm so jealous. And the whole thing's printed up like magic. So she's going to take over a lot of the shorts and a lot of the social media stuff. She's just way smarter than I am, way more savvy at it. But when it comes to the screen time, I have learned, like I tried this the other day. I didn't say anything to my wife. I just turned the power off of my phone. I bought the phone with me because I didn't want her to say, where's your phone? And we will regularly be the couple that's checking their emails. We make sure the baby's taken care of. We're eating our food, and something will go, a sound, a notification of some kind. And I was getting disgusted with it. My kids were coming to the dinner table and they were on their phone. Actually, at one point, one of my daughters turned an episode or whatever she was watching and put it on her, leaning on her glass, her cup that she was drinking out of. And I said, can you turn that off, please? It wasn't with a headset or the earpiece. She was like just gonna watch this episode while we were having dinner that I prepared for us and served at the table. No, turn that off. So for me, the realistic way of limiting your ingestion of your phone is to turn it off. Try this, seriously try this. When we're at the table, you can check your phone. When we're at the table, power your phone off. Power it off. Forget about, because you can hear it from the other room, or you could hear it ringing, or you can power your phone off for the meal. Try it. Try when you go out. Have everyone say, yeah, we're not doing phones tonight. No, it's a no phone meal. Try it at your meals. You are forced to communicate in a way that I grew up in, that my children are not growing up in. To sit across from your spouse and say, what do you think about blah, 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 and you start engaging in everything, and you realize that you wouldn't have engaged even half as much if you'd had your phone on. Or you'd be verifying things. Go, well, when was that? That was Abraham Lincoln, and you look it up and suddenly you're like, no, he didn't. He blah, blah, blah. It's a distraction. It is an absolute distraction and has stopped us from having healthy communications with our loved ones. Turn your phone off at meals, restaurants or at home. Try it. It's a great resolution. And if you turn the phone off, you won't know what you're missing because all of it's going to be there for you as soon as you power it back on. No one's going to miss you that much. No one died in the surgery unit, the suite. If you're on call and you're that doctor, but obviously you are an exception. You have to leave it on. Anybody else? They're all going to be okay. Turn your phone off. The last one, and I say this to my wife. I say it to myself. I pray it to God. I pray for this because of how little self-care in this area I have practiced over the years. And it is take a vacation. Take a vacation. I have lived in Syracuse, New York, and then now 3 different homes in Georgia since I moved to Georgia. And I have not taken a true vacation. Now, when I say a true vacation, I have gone for family outings, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. It's not really a vacation as far as I'm concerned. A true vacation for me would be a totally non-business related. Doesn't mean I couldn't see anybody, but maybe one day, if that, one afternoon, we did something business-wise. But, Puerto Rico with DeAsia, on the beach, no children, no Avis, no Finley. Bat could stay home with grandma. DeAsia's mom is right here. She loves my son. She loves our son so much. So leaving her for a week with him, she can handle it, but I that may be hard for me. But a vacation, God, please, a vacation. I have told my wife how badly I need to get away. Dominican Republic, Mexico, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas keep coming up. I need to go somewhere, Jamaica. I need to go somewhere with just my wife on some kind of a hut or something that's on a beach, that someone comes and cleans it every day. Maybe one of those all-inclusive villages, whatever it's going to be. Little or no phone or phone restrictions for certain times. We can check in the morning with our coffee. We can leave the phone on, obviously, so the kids can get a hold of us. But I need to go once or twice a year to a place that's warm, to a place I can get away and just, eat really healthy tropical fruit and drink water and play golf, tennis, walk on the beach, have great sex with my wife, with no worrying about what noise we're making in the house and if the kids can hear us and blah, 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 blah. Is my little baby watching us? Are we teaching him something bad? I'm going to do a show on that because I've done a lot of studying about it. It's been a real issue for us. But anyway, I need a vacation. In 2025, I know already we're going out for the Oscars in March, my wife and I, and that's her birthday weekend. I know that we're going back to El Salvador, we're going to Puerto Rico, and we have to go to Italy, all on business. So when we do all those things, even going to the Oscars, you'd think that that's this great thing. And I got to get there. I got to get all dressed up in a tux. We don't stay in LA very long. We get there, the day before, then the day of, there's hair and makeup and all that stuff that my beautiful wife does and all the girls that go to these events do. And then you walk the press line, and it's, paparazzi, hundreds of them. and you stop. It's called a step and repeat. You step two, 2 steps a step, and you get in front of 18 photographers, and you smile and they're screaming your name, and you wave and you kiss your wife, and you do the whole press thing. Then you go through a series of press people, interviews. Hey, who do you like to, in the best supporting actor, and some of them some of them you don't. When you don't know them, it's easy. When you know them, it's hard. Even if you think somebody else is going to win, you want to say, because you're on a press line, your friend might see it. Oh, I think Josh Brolin is, blah, blah, blah. Now, Josh Brolin is a great actor, and Josh Brolin is a friend that I've known since the beginning of my acting career. And if Josh Brolin was up against, 4 other people, and I don't know any of the 4 people, I'm rooting for Josh. I want him for his family and his career. I want him to win. Whether I think he's going to win or not, I want my friend to win. So there's that weird game where you got to kind of study up and make sure you don't say anything to offend anybody. And then you finally get into the dinner, and that part is fun, because you see there's a lot of people that don't go to the dinners anymore because they're not here anymore. So you go over and you look at the familiar faces, and they say, did you know so-and-so? And sometimes I don't even know. I'm so far out of Hollywood. I'm so far out of that whole system. I don't even know. Sometimes I don't hear, someone has passed. But it's work. That's not a vacation. A vacation, a true break from everything and all your responsibilities, just to clear your head and bring you peace. Take a vacation in 2025. Take a vacation with your girl. And if you're a girl, take a vacation with your guy. And just go dig each other. It's really cool. Lastly, I want to mention that we lost President Jimmy Carter. 100 years old, he has left this earth, and I promise you, he went to heaven. He went to heaven to be with his girl. He is, for sure, in my opinion, the greatest man to ever be president in my lifetime. And that goes through a lot of guys: Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, and now Trump again. Is that the whole order? Something like that. I think that's pretty close. The greatest man to ever be president. He will not go down, and he has not gone down as the greatest president. And the reason why he won't go down as the greatest president was because of the man that he is and the man that he was. And because the man he is and was would not allow him to be seen globally as a great president. He just had too much of a conscience. He couldn't do the types of things that a president needs to do at that level. But as far as a beautiful human being was concerned, Habitat for Humanity and some of the things that I worked on or was exposed to, that he was involved in, the loving family man and husband that he was, I admired him greatly as a human being. So I will say, rest in peace, President Carter. Your magnitude is still felt to this day by many of us. Your influence and your godliness. So I'm at the end of this show, and as I always do, I end in a prayer. So if prayer is not something that you are comfortable with, then it's time to turn the show off. And if prayer is something that you are cool with, then here we go. Lord God, we thank you so much. You are the Prince of Peace. You are our leader. You are the God of all gods. Jesus Christ, my Savior, I thank you so much every day for the many bountiful things that you put in my life, and for the protection, Lord God, the protection that you put over my family, that you put over all of us, God. The fact that you died for our sins so that we can be free and live forever. So God, Please welcome Jimmy Carter. I know he's right there by your side right now with Rosalind and many others that left before us. And God, we thank you so much for this new year coming before us right now with so much going on in the globe right now, God. We know that when you put your hand on it, your mighty hand, all will be right, Lord. So I pray for those people out there right now that are listening to be right with God and to be righteous. In your name we pray. Amen. Thank you so much for watching the show, and I will see you after New Year's. Happy New Year, everyone, and God bless you and your families.